Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm here to do your full moon in Pisces Tarot Astrology Ascension report. If my voice is a little bit raspy or deeper than usual, I don't apologize. It is what it is, but I am under the weather, so I'm going to try to make this full moon reading quick. If y'all know me, you know that's probably not going to happen, but that's my intention. So yes, I'm recovering from a head cold courtesy of my son who brought it back last Thursday, and it's making its rounds through our family presently. So it's on its way out, and so is a lot of shit for this full moon in Pisces. So it seems quite fitting. So yes. Let me get into it. A little bit of housekeeping, a few announcements. For those of you who are rolling with me over on Substack, thank you so much for your patience with me as I figure out how to resolve this situation with Stripe. For those of you who are on Substack and may not be aware, Stripe, the payment processing platform that is connected to both my Substack and my Ko-Fi, decided 2 days before my payout, 2 days before the 1st of September, and my payout from August was due from both my Ko-Fi and my Substack subscriptions. They decided to put a stop on my account and to withhold all of my August earnings. And so as I figure out how I'm going to resolve that and probably migrate off of Substack into my own, area, I have paused billing on my Substack, and I have moved away from Substack for a few days to kind of center myself and decide what it is that I want to do moving forward, because I will not be pushed around or bullied, and I don't care how big a corporation is, you will not steal the money that I worked hard for. That was the money I earned from my monthly subscriptions on Substack, my group meetings that I host throughout the month of August, as well as and this is where it gets really interesting, all of the proceeds I made from my solar return decree, as well as all of the other decrees I put out on my Ko-Fi for free if anyone made donations towards those, as well as any donations people made towards my Liberation Fund. So literally took all that, and I am figuring out right now the best course of action for myself while maintaining and holding on to my privacy and my integrity. So please bear with me as I make those changes. I want to say a really big thank you to those of you who are aware of what is going on and have reached out to me to, just to be supportive. Thank you to those two beautiful souls who took the time out of your schedule to meet with me last Thursday and to help me clear some really tough densities that I was having issue clearing alone. Thank you so much. Thank you to one of my beautiful clients that stepped in to help. This is where we're going to really begin to thrive together, is through all of these shifts. We cannot bring in the new age of Aquarius if we are not going to properly support one another through these transitions. And I'm not talking about even just financially, I'm just talking about like most of what the support I've received has been in terms of energy work, and I'm really, really grateful for it, because I deal with a lot, not only on my own plate. I don't share everything I'm going through in my personal reality. I shared a little bit, but not even half of the trials I am undertaking right now, as well as all of the energy that I have to constantly clear and deal with, just, working on these platforms and doing what it is I do. So I'm so grateful to those two beautiful beings specifically who on Thursday night were on the phone with me for 2 hours, as they helped me clear and listen to me also whine and be a human. I really do appreciate you guys. You know who you are. So let's get into the chart for the full moon in Pisces. As I hit record right now, it is 8:40, my time, 20:39 here in the UK. I have the chart for the upcoming full moon eclipse. The full moon itself, it's reaching its fullness at 2:34 GMT, which is 3:34 UK time. And then about 10 minutes later, we're going to have a partial lunar eclipse, I think. I always get them mixed up. I think it's the lunar eclipse when the moon is full. Either way, it's a partial eclipse, okay? Alrighty, let's see. I can actually find that out. Yes, it's a partial lunar eclipse. Okay, now, before we get into it, the number 7 is a big one right now. The number 7 is a very big number for this full moon. Okay, and yeah, let's get into it. So today is another 9/9 portal, or as the full moon occurs, it will be happening on another 9/9 portal, which is no mistake. Yeah, let's get into some of these energies. Before I get in, let me just do my quick disclaimer. I'm not a formal astrologer. I wasn't trained in any school of astrology. I read charts through tarot, through channeling, and through the information I have accrued about astrology, but I don't ascribe to Western, Vedic, or any of the classical schools of astrology. I do believe that a lot of that is on its way out. I do believe it had its purpose in the previous age, but we have reached a time of evolution on our planet where all things must evolve, including the way that we read the skies, because even that had limitations upon it and was very rooted in the duality consciousness of the false matrix that was designed to keep us at war within self and therefore with one another. So I'm not a formal astrologer, so if that's going to be a problem for you, then I invite you to, click off. If in general you don't like my guts, that's fine. You don't have to. I love you anyway. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like my smile. You don't have to like my eyebrows. You don't have to like my nose ring. I don't know what it is about me that you might not like. It's fine either way, but I invite you to just admit that to yourself and keep it moving. Don't come to me with any passive-aggressive comments in my comment section. Just don't do it. Like, this is really, the Virgo energy is so important for putting us back in our rightful alignment and reinstating the proper borders around our energy fields. And when we dabble in places where we don't belong, frequentially speaking, when we hang around people that we don't like, when we allow people who don't like us and respect us to be in our intimate energy, then we are consenting to being out of the fullness of alignment. Okay, so know this. It's not just me saying, if you don't like me, I'm going to throw a hissy fit. Yeah, I really don't give a toss. You're welcome to stay here. But you should know that you are doing a disservice to yourself more than you are to me, because I know who I am and I don't go around watching videos or hanging out with people who I don't actually have the highest regard for at this point, because if I don't, then I'm not in gratitude. And if I'm not in gratitude, then I'm probably whinging, complaining, all of those other energies, which is fine to, go into as a human being, but not to court on purpose. So I don't court those energies on purpose anymore, because I'm not trying to manifest more timelines or create more timelines where that is the main theme. Okay, so it's really important, get in where you fit in, and this is what this full moon eclipse is all about. So let's start. 999, okay, because as I see it here, 18 is 9, September is 9, and apparently the way I've pulled up the chart is happening at 2:34 GMT, 234, ready, set, go, right? 234, let's get shit moving. 234 also breaks down to 9. Yes? So, not for nothing, we have 4 planetary placements, or 2 luminaries and 2 planetary placements, or 2 luminary, 1 planetary, 1 nodal placement. But in total, we've got 7 energies coming through the chart for this eclipse. We've got the sun at 25 degrees Virgo, presently making its way through that final decan of Virgo. And then we've got the moon opposite the sun at 25 degrees Pisces, entering into her fullness. Yes? But then we also have Mars in Cancer at 7 degrees. And then we also have the nodes, both at 7 degrees, right? We've got the North Node in Aries at 7 degrees and the South Node in Libra at 7 degrees. Now, this number 7 is a big one because it's Saturnian in nature. 7 is a number of Saturn. 7 is also connected astrologically to Libran energy, the 7th house. It's a Libran degree, 7 degrees. And furthermore, in the tarot, 7 is connected to the Chariot. So that's all about the marriage of duality, the marriage of polarity, utilizing the power of it through your emotions to get your light body moving forward. So understanding and overstanding again how to wield the power of your emotions to create into birth. Okay, this is also to do, of course, as we're always dealing with Cancerian energy, and that's the Chariot, to do with the dragon lines. So something big is happening through this eclipse energy when it comes to the proper alignment of the true grid system of the Earth. We're getting another major alignment and another major activation, therefore, of dragon energy, or we're getting more of an integration of the very powerful dragon energy that's already been coming through also. Not for nothing, 7 is a number of order, but it's a number that speaks of earthly order. Okay, so the order that is of the earth. Okay, so very earthly related, very much to do with the materialization, in other words, of order. And we see this echoed in the power of the number 7 in many things. There are 7 notes, 7 musical notes, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 of physical chakras. Technically, if you're looking at the 7 chakra system, and all of those chakras are in alignment with the 7 musical notes. So 7 is a big number for establishing earthly order and what is necessary for things to be materialized in their rightful alignment, which is why it's also connected to Saturn. Now, not for nothing, although Virgo is ruled by Mercury, Virgo, in my opinion, works very closely with the Saturn energy, in that Saturn is the grand overseer of all of the cycles and the clocks that run the cosmos. And Virgo is very concerned with how we as individuals connect with those cosmic clocks, internally and collectively and cosmically. So if you've been hanging out with me on Substack, not recently because I haven't posted anything since Friday, but before then, if you've been hanging out with me through Virgo season, you'll know that I've been writing extensively about how Virgo as a sign deals with our internal clock systems and cycles. And an example I like to give, which is really quite simple, and I think most people can relate to it, is how the interplay of just one of the cycles that go on in your body on a daily basis, and how interconnected you are to the sun and the moon, and therefore to the constellations and the planets also. You're just not aware. So you have 2 hormones in your body that are very much connected to your wake and your sleep cycles. They are cortisol and melatonin. Okay, so you've probably heard of cortisol. Cortisol is considered a stress hormone, right? And it has its purpose. Overproduction of cortisol causes all manner of inflammatory cascades that lead to illness and issues with, nervous system issues, adrenal issues, even glandular, all manner of issues, sex hormone issues, all manner of issues, because cortisol is a stress hormone, but it's also a regulating hormone. Every hormone in your body has a purpose, and when it's out of balance, it can make you sick either way, right? So let's speak about this one cycle you have going on in your body that you might be completely oblivious to. but it shows you how deeply connected you are to the cosmos. Okay, so people who say, that this is like woo-woo stuff, yada yada yada, look at your own internal clock systems and you'll find out that you are connected to everything cosmically, and it has a say on how you live, right? So cortisol is the hormone that helps you to wake up in the morning. It helps you to rise. And so as the sun rises, your cortisol levels rise with it. And as the moon sets, because the sun is rising, your melatonin levels lower also. So your cortisol levels tend to be at their peak when the sun is at its highest, which, give or take a few hours, will be around noontime. It will be when you're most alert a lot of the time, and everyone's different, This is not, everyone's got their personality and their likes and their dislikes and the way they deal with their own cycles also. But in general, your cortisol levels tend to be the highest when the sun is at its peak in the day, and your melatonin levels tend to be the lowest at that point. And then as soon as your cortisol levels reach that peak and the sun begins to, its setting motion, it begins to move westerly, your cortisol levels start to come down and your melatonin levels start to come up. So as the sun begins to set, your cortisol levels go down, and as the moon begins to rise, your melatonin levels go up. And then your melatonin levels will go up, go up, go up, rising with the moon, right? With the rhythms of the moon. And when the moon is at its peak energy at nighttime is when your melatonin levels will be at their highest, which is when technically you should be asleep, because melatonin is a hormone that helps you to repair from the metabolic processes of the day. And your cortisol will be at the lowest. And then, of course, as the moon begins to set, thank you. As the moon then begins to set and the sun begins to rise, the same dance happens. Your melatonin will go down and your cortisol levels will go up. And as your cortisol levels go up, that's what helps you to wake up in the morning. Okay? So that's a very simple biological cycle, a clock system within your own biology that is very much connected to the sun and the moon. And that's just one of many cycles that occur in your body on a daily basis that you don't have to tell your body to do anything to do it, but it's connected to the sun and the moon. Your organs are also connected to different planets. Okay? Now, I'm saying all of this because Virgo is the sign that tends to help you put those systems back into order. Those biological clocks that connect you with the clock systems, the overriding energies, cosmic energies that help to regulate those internal clocks. Virgo is very much about putting you into alignment with that on a personal level, which is why Virgo is often the sign of the zodiac, where we speak about health and habits and routines, those things we tend to do in cycles. But we speak about it externally, but we tend to miss the point, the true point of Virgo energy, which is to reset our internal mechanisms into right alignment so that we are healthy, so that we have the health that enables us to frequentially hold the wealth that is also ours. Because when we are in correct alignment and we are living in accordance with natural order and universal law, our wealth increases with our health, because our health is a marker that shows us how good we are and responsible we are with dealing with the vessel we have. If we are responsible with the vessel that we are borrowing, then we are more likely to be responsible with things that belong to other beings too. So in divine order and universal law, Wealth is attributed to those who have dealt well with the resources they already have. And the first resource that you have to look after on your human journey is the body that you've chosen to incarnate into. The second thing of value that you must invest wisely in are your children and the legacy that you are creating. This is why Virgo is very much connected to legacy. It's connected to motherhood, but in the tarot, the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles are the minor arcana cards of Virgo, and they speak about establishing legacy on the earth. Okay, so we establish true legacy, true wealth on the earth, 9 and the 10 of Pentacles, as we learn how to stay so fully aligned with ourselves that we are also connecting correctly with the cosmos and doing what it is that we can to properly maintain our own vessels and the resources that we've been entrusted with. So Virgo is really teaching, it teaches you how to be wise with the resources, the natural resources you already have. Before you even begin to think about money, the way you treat yourself, the way you treat the things you've been given, right? To be a steward over your children if you are a parent, the children of your community. Once upon a time, the leaders and the healers of your community, and even more importantly, the earth herself. How you deal with the resources and the gifts that you've already been given is what determines whether you are a frequential match to receive more. So this is why for many of us, this Virgo season has been especially harsh. So for many of you, you know that I've spoken about, the power of the Mercury energy that has been, flowing from Leo season through Virgo season, and how it was here to help us reconnect to our latent power as creators and as magicians. And the beautiful thing about Mercury energy is that through Gemini, which is, we had a lot of Gemini energy at some point, and we've moved out of it mostly, except for Jupiter, right? Jupiter is still in Gemini, but we had a lot of Gemini energy going on at one point to help us connect with our creatorhood, help us connect with our magician abilities. But Virgo comes and helps us to learn how to properly divvy out those resources, look after our energy so that what we create we can sustain, what we create we can grow, what we create we can continue to eat from for years to come, and not only eat from it for ourselves, but create a harvest so bountiful that others can eat too. Our whole job as beings, what true legacy is partially, is that we leave the earth in a better state because we've been here. And that has nothing to do with material things, and it has everything to do with the way that you have lived your life, the way you've touched others, the way you've helped others, the way you've inspired others to be in their truth, in divine order that is of greater divine value than throwing money at things, right? And that's not to say that investing money isn't a good thing, and it is, but our sole purpose is to energetically leave the earth in a better state than what we found it in. Okay, so the sun in Virgo, let's break this down. So we got the 7-7 energy with the sun and the moon, both expressing themselves through an Aries degree, which is interesting, right? Because we have this full moon in Pisces, which is a partial lunar eclipse, and it's the first time on the ecliptic axis that we are entering into this Piscean energy. So it's foreshadowing the shifting of the nodes that will be occurring early next year out of Aries and Libra and into Pisces and Virgo. So Virgo's this season has already been preparing us for a lot of the themes of what will be coming up as the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node moves into Virgo. So if this season has been especially difficult for you, know that the extent to which you were able to alchemize that energy is preparing you for what is coming up in the next 19-month cycle as the nodes make their way through Pisces and Virgo. Now, Aries degree, right? 25 is an Aries degree. When we meet Aries, we're setting things off. We're beginning things. It is the chief cardinal energy of the zodiac that starts all things. It's cardinal fire. But the Aries energy, it also is what allows us to create new foundations. Okay, so whatever you set, whatever foundation you create is what you have to build upon. And the cycles that repeat off of that foundation will always match the foundational energy, which is why through this healing process and this ascension, we have had to tear back and alchemize so many layers to get to the foundational energies upon which everything was built. And that's what we've been dealing with, especially this year, which is why it's been so trying. We've been getting to the root. We've been getting to the seed point. We've been getting to those preliminary energies, those mindsets, those thoughts, those feelings, those behaviors, those actions that created the foundation upon which the false matrix was built in us, through us, by us, and then became this mess. So we've had to conquer those energies within. And now this Aries energy, this full moon, expressing herself through the Aries energy, the sun expressing self through the Aries energy, shows it's time to start again. A new order has and is being established. So this Virgo season has been about getting us in alignment for the new earth. The new moon in Virgo was a gateway into the new earth, energetically speaking. Once you pass that threshold, it's not like strawberries and cream, because you pass the threshold only to have to deal with the things that you've brought with you still that need to be shaken out of you because you've reached a higher frequential truth and you can't take everything with you. So I know that people seem to have this fairy tale idea of when you walk through the gates into the new earth, that all of a sudden everything is like dandy. And it's like, no. When you walk through those gates, you still have to deal with some of the baggage you're trying to bring into the new earth that doesn't belong, right? And we will continue dealing with that because these energies leave in layers. They don't leave all at once. We wouldn't be able to handle the leaving of these things all at once if we're to be completely honest and frank. For some people, it would put them into psychosis, especially early on. So we have the sun and the moon expressing themselves at that 7-7 energy, Saturnian energy, Libran energy, balancing of the scales, new order coming forth, justice being wielded right now, as well as a new foundation that is that has received clearance. It feels like we've received clearance to now build a whole new foundation upon which this new earth reality is going to bloom and blossom. And Virgo and Pisces are both signs of the zodiac that are checkpoint energies. They take us to a checkpoint. So when you look at the zodiac wheel as it is right now, it's split into 12. And when you get to the first half of the zodiac, the 6th house of Virgo, you are exiting the first half of the wheel, which is to do solely with the alchemy, self-alchemy, the alchemizing, the healing, the reckoning, the recognizing of self and who you are, very specifically as it pertains to your divine mind and your divine heart. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are the signs of the zodiac that challenge you to connect your mind with your divine truth, Connect your mind with the mind of God. And then Cancer, Leo, and Virgo are the signs that challenge you to rise into your divine heart, to connect your truth to the heart of God. And then through Virgo, you begin to integrate the two as you arrive into Libra and you begin to share those lessons with other beings. So Virgo is a checkpoint, right? Virgo is the checkpoint where you go to graduate into the sharing of what it is you've learned, what it is you've accrued for yourself. And Virgo is that energy that forces you into hermit mode, forces you into deep introspection, radical honesty. As you know, that's the terminology I like to use. Radical honesty, so that you can begin to learn all of the ways where you still might not be honoring self fully. You still might be in self-betrayal cycles, whether consciously or unconsciously, or it's time to put an end to something that has expired and it can't go forward with you in the next round because of where you're going, you know? So Virgo is that checkpoint where it's just like, no, you're going to deal with the things that it's time for you to face. If you really want to create legacy, if you really want to have health, if you really want to have real wealth, then it's time to deal with all of those things internally and the decisions you've made externally that aren't going to serve you in moving on in the next cycle. So Virgo can be very, very, can be a real disciplinarian when it comes, which is why, like I said before, it's very reminiscent to me of Saturnian energy, even though it's mercurial in nature. Because Virgo comes to encourage, really encourage, us to get into order and to get right with self. That's what Virgo does, get right with self. Before you go out into the world and share anything with anyone, get right with self. Why? So that the foundation you build moving forward with any being externally outside of yourself is built and rooted upon something that is real, is rooted and built upon something that matches who you are divinely and can therefore grow you and prosper you in ways where you don't get stuck in the karmic wheel. The hermit energy precedes the wheel of fortune. And the wheel of fortune, either you're going to rise into a level of dharmic living by being true to self, or you're going to enter back into a karmic cycle by betraying self. So Virgo is really very tough with us about not betraying self, choosing self. And this is every year. But this year, you know, it's a lot more intense because of where we are in ascension. And of course, Virgo and Pisces are sister signs. So Pisces is the checkpoint at the end of the zodiac wheel. So this is why we hear a lot about the 12th house, which is, you know, Pisces, and the house of Pisces. We hear a lot about the hidden enemies in the 12th house, Piscean energy, hidden enemies. Pisces also has to do with the institutions of the earth that enslave or imprison, including prison systems, hospitals. All of those things are the domain of Pisces. And why would that be? Because if you have not mastered the power of Virgo to be so discerning and honest with self and true to self, then you will fall into the shadow energies of Pisces, which will always lead you into people-pleasing and self-martyrdom in order to belong, in order to not rock the boat. And in doing so, you get stuck in a cycle you don't belong in. Because every time you betray yourself, you are consenting to karmic living. And it's always going to be the extent to which you betray yourself that you will experience certain degrees of karma, of karmic suffering. Okay? So because we are at this point where we are getting rid of the foundational energies of the false matrix, where, in all frankness, this false matrix, the foundation was built upon our self-betrayal. Our self-betrayal, our turning on one another, our choosing to go our own separate ways, our tuning out of community because of ego, dissension, all of that. That was wrought. That was wrought through self-betrayal. That was wrought through self-betrayal, and then the hidden energies that arose and cropped up from our self-betrayal that caused us to be that way towards one another too. So I always will tell you guys, the way a cycle begins is the way it closes out. It doesn't matter if that cycle is a couple of hours. It doesn't matter if that cycle is a couple of years. It doesn't matter if that cycle has gone on for millennia. The way that these energies entered to create the false matrix are the way these energies must leave now in order to rise into a new and true golden age. So the ways that we betrayed self, the ways we betrayed one another, we are being called now into, first of all, full self-responsibility, full honoring of self, and then also honoring of one another in the rebuilding of community outside of these structures, platforms, systems, institutions that have purposely tried to pit us against one another so that this day wouldn't come. So this idea, this moon is also setting us up right now to come back into community, come back into communion, because of course the sun will then make its way through Libra. And then, not for nothing, the nodes are going to be moving out of, are going to be moving into Pisces and Virgo. So again, dealing with those checkpoint energies. Okay, so let's take a look at the tarot, see if anything else is coming through. So the sun in Virgo at 25 degrees, that's the sun card. That is the Hermit, the Magician to a lesser extent, because the Magician is the card of Mercury, and Mercury is the planet that rules both Virgo and Gemini. So the Magician is a card that, it's Mercury, but it also, you can apply it to both Gemini and Virgo placements. But the main card of Virgo is the Hermit. So we got the Sun card, the Hermit, the Magician to a lesser extent, and the 25-degree mark of Virgo is the third decan of Virgo. So we are dealing with 10 of Pentacles. We are dealing with the new earth. We are dealing with the new earth legacies that are arising. We are dealing with everything being put into place now for new earth legacies and contracts to begin to materialize in our lives as individuals and on the earth's planes also, which is why there's been a lot of this shaking, in these, with these platforms, these institutions, these systems. Everything is being shaken because it's time for the new world, the new earth to rise, the new earth system, the new earth financial system to be born through us. It's time, and this is why a lot of this has been so difficult, because what we're dealing with right now is the purging of that which cannot be a part of the new foundation. It's been getting us ready for this checkpoint, which is this full moon eclipse, where we are further clearing out the energies of the age of Pisces that we can't take with us, because they don't, they are based and they are rooted upon our constant and our consistent martyrdom, self-flagellation for the purpose of keeping us open for energy harvesting, so that these false legacies of the false matrix could rise in our place. So those are coming down, those false legacies, those false energies that have built themselves up off of energy harvesting. They're coming down as we learn a new way and we continue to clear the energies of the old world the previous age, the age of Pisces, in which we were not only energy harvested, we were also doing the energy harvesting. And if you haven't seen that about yourself yet, you're not ready for this new earth, because we were all complicit in this unconsciously. Most of us were not, if you're vibing with me, we weren't running around trying to hurt people doing this, but we were still doing it in our woundedness. When we cast the evil eye upon someone, when we envied someone, when we did that, that's a form of fucking with their energy to make ourselves feel better. It's energy harvesting. So, we weren't engaged with it in the higher degrees of the fuckery, that beings were like casting spells and doing shit in order to get into people's energy fields and all that other. You probably weren't doing that, but on some level you were still involved, because if you weren't involved, this wouldn't be existing. All of this exists because of us and through us, because we continue to perpetuate this for as long as we weren't seeing it and we weren't healed. Okay, so this is what we're clearing out. We're clearing out even the ways we were complicit by being martyrs. It takes two to tango. You can't energy harvest someone who's not open to being energy harvested. So we were willing participants in being energy harvested also, not consciously, but every time we denied and betrayed and rejected self, that's what we were doing. Okay, so a lot of that is being cleared out. On a personal level, how that relates to you personally, because for all of us it will be a little bit different. And then on a collective level, those templates that supported the constant feasting off of other people's pain, it's coming down. Yes? Now, the moon in Pisces at 25 degrees. So the moon is the moon card. Piscean energy is the High Priestess, and the Hanged One to a lesser extent, because the Hanged One is the card of Neptune. Yes? You could even say the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Pisces energy, because that's a card of Jupiter, and Pisces is co-ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Okay? But for most tarot heads, you'll know the main cards of Pisces are the Neptune card of the Hanged One and the High Priestess. Okay, so the 25 degree mark of Pisces is the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is what precedes the 10 of Pentacles. Without your emotional fields being in 10 of Cups state, you cannot birth the 10 of Pentacles. Without your emotional fields being in 9 of Cups, you can't birth the 9 of Pentacles. This is again why Virgo and Pisces are checkpoints, because Pisces deals with the 9 and 10 of Cups energy, and Virgo deals with the 9 and 10 of Pentacles energy. You can't rise into full self-sufficiency without first perfecting that internally and emotionally through the 9 of Cups. You can't rise into legacy and health and wealth and sharing that stuff with other beings if you haven't first established the 10 of Cups emotionally speaking. Okay, so the 10 of Cups. This again is another energy with the moon where we're dealing with a lot of the shadow energies of false community, the karmic fuckery and entanglements, what I call the quantum entanglement programs of the false matrix, the social engineering agendas, which always had us sacrificing ourselves in order to belong, or making concessions because we felt like that was the right thing to do, not based upon what we wanted internally, but based upon what we thought was possible because of the carrots that were dangled before us. So I'll put myself out there. Right now I am reconsidering how I feel about social media. Especially the platforms that I give my energy to, because the truth of the matter is all of these social media platforms are energy harvesting platforms. Okay, they are. They steal energy from creators in order to make money. They choose the creators that they want to, put in the spotlight for their own fucked up purposes. It's a form of energy harvesting, right? People will come and eat your energy and never replenish you when you're a creator. It's energy harvesting. Let's call it what it is, okay? And we've been told that this is the way that you're supposed to get your message out and yada, 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 and all that other shit. And yes, it is the way because that's what was created in order to keep these energy harvesting templates alive. But that doesn't mean that's going to be the way moving forward, right? So we're not here anymore to make concessions and sacrifices in order to fit in with the criteria of platforms that ultimately are here to energy harvest us. We're not here to make concessions and give away our energy for free to beings who don't appreciate and value who we are and sow back into us. This is not of the new earth. We are transitioning out of that. So the ways in which we have been doing that are being highlighted right now. New ways in which, new avenues in which we can move and flow in order that we can align with beings who replenish us and platforms that actually aren't just here to eat from our creativity. All of that stuff is being actualized through this energy window ever since the new moon entered into Virgo. Okay, so all of this stuff is happening, and we have to make decisions at every turn, again with that Virgo energy, of whether we're going to be 100% true to ourselves, to our hearts, to our minds, to our visions, or whether we're going to make concessions because we're afraid, because this is what we've been told is the only way to do it. Fuck that. You are a God particle. If there's not a way for you, create one. That's what we're being here to do and to challenge. And that's scary as fuck. I know. I'm in it right now. You know? But that's where we are right now. Because a lot of these platforms are not going to survive. If they don't shift the way that they deal with humanity, the way that they deal with our energy, they will not survive the new earth. They won't. And they know this too. Some of them don't have contracts in the new earth. They don't. So yeah. Mercury in Virgo at 14 degrees. So Mercury is the magician card. Virgo is the hermit. The magician also, as I said before. 14 degrees is a degree of Taurus. And 14 in the tarot is a Sagittarius card of temperance. More balancing energies coming through, right? But this is about the balancing of heaven and earth, the balancing that's necessary to bring the heavens back onto the earth planes, and it's very much to do with your personal value, your divine net worth. This is what's being spoken to us. So Mercury is, chatting to us through Virgo. Be honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you deserve? What's stopping you from doing that? Are you following paths based upon, limited thinking because you've been given a prescription that you don't think you can move out of? You're afraid to move out of it. Mercury's talking to us about all of this because that Taurus energy, that Taurus degree 14, it's about connecting to your divine net worth, your gifts, your resources, and making the most out of them. Remember, you don't get more resources until you learn how to deal with the ones you have. And I ain't talking about money, right? So Mercury is helping us to tune into our true value because the New Earth value system is going to be rooted in this, not in the things that we have invested our life force and energy in that's constantly like a fucking succubus taking from us. That's not what we're doing moving forward. But because those systems and the setup surrounding that, it's still very much active, we're finding it very difficult to wrap our minds around the possibilities because you got to eat, right? But Mercury is helping you to remember who you are cosmologically also, because that Sagittarius energy, it's connected to the 144 frequency. You break down Sagittarius in Gematria, it breaks down to the 144. And Sagittarius, excuse me, Sagittarius is the sign of the zodiac that connects you with the seraphim grids, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Cancer connects you with the dragon lines of the earth. Sagittarius connects you with the dragon lines above, the seraphim energies. Okay, so these are the creational plates that we are here as a rainbow bridge to bring forth and to anchor into the earth. So these are activations that are coming through the Mercury. Activations in many ways. In one way, dragon activations. In other ways, creational activations, your true creational templates. Angelic DNA and codes will be coming through this full moon eclipse, clearing out that which doesn't support that also in your system. As it does this, bringing forth something to help you actualize your God code on the earth planes with this Mercury in Virgo at 14 degrees. I always like to say that of the signs of the zodiac that are the true liberators, in my opinion, they're Virgo and Sagittarius. Other signs deal with liberation, you know, Pisces does, Aquarius does, but for me as a reader, the signs, the true liberators of the zodiac are Virgo and Pisces. Virgo helps you to get yourself in order, to stop betraying yourself, stop rejecting yourself, and shows you how to come into alignment with the cycles, with your own internal cycles, and to then support that in such a way that you can flourish and bloom. Sagittarius gives you the power to begin to walk confidently in who you are on the earth planes. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. Sagittarius helps you to have that profound faith in yourself that allows you to be who you are. Sagittarius is the energy that opens you up to traveling again. And not traveling and jumping on a plane, but traveling like closing your eyes. I see a door. Ooh, I'm there. Sagittarius opens you up to your higher, multidimensional, infinite abilities to travel. Okay, and so the precursor for that is the Virgo energy that helps you to come into alignment to get to that place by first being true to self and therefore knowing how to honor your energy on all planes. So Mercury speaking about that. Swiftly moving along, we got Venus in Libra at 23 degrees. So Venus is the Empress. Libra is the Empress also to a lesser extent, as well as the Justice card. The 23-degree mark of Libra is the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, okay? And the 23-degree mark is a degree of Aquarius. Okay? So what's happening here? There's a balance that's happening. There's a birthing process and a balancing process in order for these creational energies to bloom. And not for nothing, the Four of Swords is a card of rest. It's a card of recovery, of recuperation. You know, we can't continually sow seeds and harvest. We must let the soil rest in between harvesting cycles if we want to plant again and, you know, get something substantial. And we have to alternate the seeds so we're not constantly, you know, demanding from the soil to give us what it can't by producing the same crop. And the Four of Swords, the Empress, that divine feminine energy that shows us how to rest and recover, it's designed for that principle of being able to have a good harvest by allowing our earth to rest itself and to recuperate for the next sowing season. So this Venus in Libra is also sowing in that divine feminine, sowing deeper in the divine feminine principle of rest. Resting and allowing what is naturally yours to come towards you. We are exiting out of an age that was dominated by distorted masculine energy. Dominated, but at the foundation of that was a distorted feminine, because everything is birthed through feminine energy. I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about the energetic principle. All things are birthed, so you cannot have distorted masculine energy if the feminine energy from which it's birthed is stable and true. It can only be born from distortion. Okay, so distorted masculine energy comes from distorted feminine energy. So they both had had responsibility in what it was we were creating, but the feminine energy was still that which was kind of very dormant. It was there, it was the underbelly of it, but it was the masculine energy, the distorted masculine, that was more pronounced. We're coming back into balance, and we're also coming back into an age where we are bringing back to life the Divine Mother and her principles for the earth and her children. And so we are exiting out of this grind culture where we were constantly hurting ourselves and one another for the purpose of survival in their fucked up Hunger Games. And we're coming back into true alignment of what it is that the earth was created for, which was for us to enjoy and to grow and to multiply and to leave it, like I said before, in a better state than what we found it. Okay, so we're entering into an era where magnetism is going to overtake electricity. So electricity is masculine energy. Go, 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 go. Do, 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 do. Pursue, pursue, pursue. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Grind, grind, grind. The early bird gets the worm. Get the bag. All that other bullshit. All the other terminology. The divine feminine energy says, sit back and trust. And live in alignment with who you are, and everything that you are, everything that you need to support, that's going to come to you as you stop resisting your truth. Can you do that? Can you handle staying still? Can you handle resting? Can you handle being true to yourself? Can you handle tuning into the fullness of your value and trusting that that's who you are, even before it begins to come towards you? Can you trust that so powerfully that that thing has no choice but to chase you down? Can you trust in the power of your divine net worth to the point where that thing, the mirror of your wealth, has to chase you down while you sit down and just be who you are? That's the age of Aquarius. Aquarian energy demands for your authenticity. What is authenticity? The authenticity that is actually being spoken about is about the reestablishment of your true wave, of your true frequency that will always call towards you everything that you need to thrive for as long as you're being true to it. Which is why I said in the very beginning, if you don't like somebody, get out of their energy, because you're fucking with your own frequency. You're fucking with your own wave. You're fucking with your ability to call in what it is that you need to thrive. When I make the disclaimer, it's an act of love. Get your act together. If you don't like me, fuck off. I'm not hurt by the fact you don't like me, but you're hurting your own wave and your own frequency. And when you hurt yourself in that way, it has an effect on us collectively also. We all have a place to be. The lowest of consciousnesses have a right to exist, but they must exist within their frequential boundaries. That's what Virgo teaches us. It teaches us that so we can have such integrity with our energy so that we are all living in ways where we are thriving enough to go through our evolutionary processes and our lessons so that we can rise and thrive. I tell people all the time, demons deserve to ascend if that's what they want. The false matrix didn't allow for them to ascend. They bound them. So many of these corporations, societies, orders, greedy ass fuckers, they bound these demons in order to get material wealth and to get them to do what they wanted to do. That's against universal law. We're not here to bind those entities for the purpose of getting shit. The only time it's acceptable to bind an entity is if you're binding it out of your frequency. You're not binding it out of its own evolutionary processes. Mars in Cancer at 7 degrees. So Mars entered Cancer. I'm very happy that Mars is entering Cancer. because Mars in Gemini, whew, that was intense. Mars in Cancer is no cakewalk either, but Mars in Cancer is here to fight for the foundations of these new Earth grids, to fight for the foundations of the dragon lines, 7 degrees, but to also fight for the Divine Mother and the implementation of her energies back onto the earth planes through this energy. So we had a really interesting Cancer season this year, very pronounced again in clearing, because Cancer deals with the foundational energies upon which we build things, the emotions upon the foundations within our emotional fields through which all things are birthed. Your emotions connect you with the element of water. All things are birthed through water. All things are connected and separated by the waters in all realms. So if your waters are dirty, or your waters are not in alignment, if they're full of trauma bonds, spells, things that put you out of alignment, you will be continually birthing karmic cycles and struggle. So Cancer is the sign of the zodiac that helps you to clear your waters. It's ruled by the moon. The moon, when it's not being fucked with, is here to help you every single month to clear and align your waters. So as a creator being, you are creating what is in alignment with who you are and what it is you desire and need to thrive. It's helping you to truly establish your wave based upon who you are, as opposed to the storage, the wrongful storage of the trauma and the wounding that will take you out of alignment and making choices that don't benefit your ability to rise into your frequency and maintain the wave that you need to draw in everything you need to rise and thrive. So Mars in Cancer is fighting, through this energy again, through this Cancerian energy, fighting through what it is that we've cleared in Cancer season, right? So this is an energy where a lot of things can be brought to justice, especially when you're dealing with the false mother energies of the matrix, when you're dealing with karmic family contracts, karmic mothers, all of this stuff. Mars in Cancer is helping us to find our way back home, right? That's the Cancerian energy, home. And what is home? Your home frequency, your true wave. That's what Mars is helping you to do emotionally. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up because I'm tired and I wasn't supposed to be here this long, of course. Jupiter in Gemini at 20 degrees. I'm not going into this. We've already gone into it in the past reading, I believe, because it was very heavy Jupiter energy. Wait, let me get the tarot astrology for this, because last reading I forgot to do the tarot astrology for everything. So Mars is the Tower. Okay, Cancer energy is the Chariot, and to a lesser extent for me, the Moon. The 7 degree of Cancer is the Two of Cups. So this Mars energy is also helping to reestablish the true foundations within that cater to us being in alignment with beings who we no longer have to fight to be who we are. We don't have to suppress, repress. We can show up as we are, which is how it should be. There was a lot of pretension and mask wearing, and the Mars in Cancer at 7 degrees, this Two of Cups energy is also assisting with that. So bringing things into order, bringing the emotional body into order, bringing the foundation of what we build our relational dynamics, our attachment styles come through Cancer. And a lot of our attachment styles have been born through trauma. So as we heal, we have the opportunity to heal the ways that we've been attaching wrongfully to people because of that deep mother wound. All of this is being torn through, being fought for, being placed into rightful order in us, through us, by us, together also through Mars and Cancer at 7 degrees. Mercury in Virgo, Nine of Pentacles. I don't think I said that. Mercury's the Magician, the Hermit, and Nine of Pentacles, as well as the Temperance card to a lesser extent. Okay, so I think since the new moon in Virgo, I can't remember if it happened before, but we also, let's not forget, Pluto has retrograded back into Capricorn for the final time. So we're dealing with a lot of timeline bleed through. That's what a lot of us have been. You need to go. As Pluto moved into Capricorn again, there was a lot of timeline bleed through. And still timeline bleed through, and it feels like this full moon eclipse is actually helping to anchor in the timelines we've chosen based upon how we responded to that bleed through. You know, when timeline bleed through occurs, it means that there are older timelines that are open that want to drag you into a lower reality. But if you realize it's not your reality and you fight against it and you say fuck a bunch of that and you don't succumb to fear, and you don't stay in the lower energies that match the old timeline, then when the bleed through is over and it's time to establish a new timeline, you will be sitting in the higher timeline, not the old one that you were being tempted to be dragged into. And it's been crazy. It's been a fight. It's been like a fight for your fucking soul and your timelines in these past few weeks. And I think you can partially thank Pluto moving into Capricorn with that also. Also a lot of like Age of Leo shit that was coming up. Age of Leo themes, you know, coming up, you know, in terms of the karmic energies that were responsible for taking you away from yourself, that you took away, you helped to take others away from themselves too, and you're finishing up some stuff with them in this lifetime. That's the Pluto in Capricorn, because 29 degrees, it is a degree of Leo, you know. We close out the zodiac degree with a Leo degree at 29, so all of that has been coming up, yes. Finally, the nodes, 7-7, again, this is about coming into order with self enough to be able to be with another, be with others, and still honor self, and in doing so honor others. This is the energy of now. We're really getting lessons because it's time for us to begin to build. It's time for us to begin to join together and support one another in love. You know, to support one another in truth, support one another as these old world structures that want us to believe that they are our only lifeline continue to crumble. We need to support one another in this transition. We need to support one another as we build. And so this, the North and the South node in Libra, in Aries and Libra, at 7 degrees, are putting us in the rightful order to be able to do that again, helping us also to get rid of a lot of the fear that has come as a result of the awakening process. Because as we awoke and we started to look around, it felt at some point like we couldn't trust anyone. And the truth is, you can't really trust anyone until you trust yourself. That's the truth. When you trust yourself, you can be in the company of anything and anyone and it won't be able to do anything to you. That's the truth. And that's where we need to get to, so that once again, we're learning how to be with one another without like paranoia, without fear, and also, you know, to be with one another and to continue to be deeply self-aware enough that we are not taking where we're not giving, and we're not giving where we're not being replenished, and all of this, you know, the martyrdom templates that the full moon in Pisces is here to clear out. So all of these things are being addressed right now in our souls, in the dynamics that we are involved in any way. All of these themes are coming up for us to witness, for us to, you know, calibrate ourselves more effectively, and for us to ultimately do the deep alchemy to align ourselves higher with our truth, right? But also in ways where we're honoring other people and their journey also. No one is here to be perfect. We're all wounded. There's not one of us who is on this journey who got away without being fucking wounded. Okay, so it's not an issue of perfection. It's an issue of how do we come together and continue to heal together in a way where we're not tearing one another down because of our woundedness, but we actually are healing collectively, right? So all of that is coming up now, right? So this is the energy. This is what I'm picking up on for this full moon eclipse. Yes, I think I'm going to end there. Thank you so much for chilling with me. Thank you for hanging out with me. For those of you who would like to work with me, tarot astrology readings are still open, not reports anymore. I think I have maybe one more slot for a report because I did extend it to 3 more people, 3 more months, because a lot of people got back to me initially wanting a tarot astrology report. So I think I have one more placement, but you wouldn't get your report, I think, until maybe April, I think is the last slot I have available. I don't have it in front of me. So if you're interested, email me. I have, I think, one more slot for tarot astrology. I've filled up all September, October, November, December, January, February. I filled up all 6 slots. March, April, May. So maybe I have 2 more, April, May. Either way, if you're interested, please contact me because I don't think I'll be doing them after. For those of you who don't know, my tarot astrology reports are when I go through all 12 of your placements and I write and I channel extensively on them, and by the time I'm done, you will have about a 40 to possibly sometimes 50-page personalized report for that. So for you, very specifically, and you can return to it time and time again. I've done this, been doing it for about 3 years now, and I've had clients tell me that every time they go back into it, they are reactivated. It doesn't matter how much they've alchemized, the report helps to, that's what I do. I'm a Mars in Scorpio. I activate transformation and help people, my sun in Leo, I help you to align to your true divine templates through watching me, through conversing with me, through my words. It's my energy. We all have an energy signature, and through that energy signature is how we activate and deactivate and all of that. That's my gift, right? That's what I do. So if you're interested, I think I have definitely 1, possibly 2 more slots for that, and then I will not be continuing anymore because, quite frankly, it's very, very intense, energy intensive for me, and I charge a good amount for them, but I don't charge nearly enough for what I put in because I want to make them somewhat accessible. And so I'm working on ways to be able to get this out where it's not so labor intensive for me and therefore not so expensive for other people. And it won't be a personal chart at that point. Once I'm done with these personals, I'm done. But I'm working on different ways to get this out in a different format for you guys. So bear with me there. Also, if you're interested in a divine alignment or a soul recovery session, you can check me out on solara.info. And all information for how to book with me will be there. Please email me directly for bookings. That's how you book with me. So you can check out my website. It will tell you everything I offer. But then when and if you're ready, please email me. Okay? Yes, if you'd like to make donations, you can do so through my PayPal, not my Ko-Fi presently because of the Stripe fuckery, but you can make donations through my PayPal. And what else? When I have figured out the SUBSTACK thing and I have information about my migratory process, I will let you guys all know. But I will be back on SUBSTACK this week. I will resume my regular publishing schedule, payment. Billing will be paused until I figure out what is going on. So for those of you who would have been wanting to get access to the paid stuff, you can right now through Substack. So please do consider joining me over there. Yes, that's it. I'm sending you so much full moon love. I know it's been really difficult. It's been really difficult for me. But I have to admit that the message I got from my guides, which was kind of personal, but it never is, because if you look at energy, you know that everything is a microcosm within a macrocosm. So what's happening for me personally is always part of the collective story, right? So my guides told me around the 888 portal, when I had gone away, very specifically for my solar return portal, I was told to go away for that in the 888 portal because of my own living situation. And they told me when I was re-entering this space, this energy window, they said to me, you are entering into a battle zone. And I tried my best to run from it. I really did. I tried my best to run, but you can't run from the final battle. You can't. As I've said to you guys before, Armageddon isn't this thing that happens on the earth. Armageddon is what happens inside. That final war to get you to the other side of something will always happen internally. It will manifest itself through external circumstances, yes, but that's all to refine and calibrate you internally so that you can actually have what it is that you want without the energies from before that are going to sully your opportunity to sustain what it is that's coming forth. So be encouraged for those of you who've been in the trenches. There's been a lot of fear flying in the worst of ways. So just be aware and be encouraged. And I'm sending you all so much love. You've got this. You've absolutely fucking got this. Your soul knew what the fuck you were signing up for. There's nothing more powerful that enters your reality than your soul. And that's what I had to come to finally realizing. Those of you who are on Substack know that my last post I wrote, I said, I'm not fighting anymore. There's a time to fight, and there's a time to rest in the power of what it is you've already done and accomplished. And there's a time to rest upon the laurels of your soul. And there is nothing more powerful that can enter into your reality at any given time that supersedes the power of your soul and therefore your ability to find a solution out. And in the worst of times, it's really difficult. Man, I was drowning. Like I said, those two beautiful souls that helped me out last Thursday, they took my hand and dragged me out of some really deep waters. It happens to all of us. You know, none of us are exempt. No matter how long we've been doing this, no matter what platform we have, no matter what gifts we have, it doesn't mean anything. We're all in here doing this together. So, yeah, be encouraged. I'm sending you love, and I wish you a happy full moon. Be well.